Thank you, Professor. Thank you for those tips. And I would now request Dr. Jayashree Barua, our professor from Assam, to give her talk. She will be speaking on topical SICS tips and tricks.
Yeah, very good afternoon, everyone. So today I'll be basically discussing on topical MSICS, the tips and the tricks. It's not how we do the SICS, but what modifications that we can do in order to shift from our peribulbar injections to the topical M6. So why are we discussing about topical anesthesia? Because this is the ultimate form of low risk and non-invasive technique. But at the end, I'd like to say that it depends upon your technique, your confidence, and it's a personal choice whether you want to shift from peribulbar to topical M6 or not. So is topical anesthesia safe in M6? Is it possible to do M6 in all the cases that you are operating upon? Or do you need to modify some of your steps when you are doing topical anesthesia, under, the cases under topical anesthesia? So we have a wonderful kinesia, we have wonderful anesthesia with peribulbar injection. The patient does not complain of pain. You can do a very good surgery. So do we need to move away from our comfort zone of anesthesia and kinesia, which is present in peribulbar anesthesia? See, like in any other technique, there should always be a scope for improvement. And if we are giving this benefit to our phaco patients, why not give this benefit even to our SICS patients? So before jumping into any conclusion, I decided to see what are the differences that I have in my phaco and my SICS cases. And this is not a one day that all of a sudden I decided to jump. It was after operating 40,000 cases of SICS under peribulbar. And it was, then I realized that it was only after my 30th case of phacoemulsification that I shifted to topical anesthesia. So what was the difference in the technique that I was doing? Okay, I was doing a surgery that was taking me 10 minutes and I was doing it under topical anesthesia. And on the other hand, in SICS, I'm doing a surgery that takes me 3 minutes and I'm giving a peribulbar block for the patient. So where was the difference? So why was I not doing topical anesthesia before? Maybe I was worried that the patient will have pain, patient will complain. We are giving a bigger incision, so maybe the incision will be difficult. I was at that time still using the superior rectus bridle suture, which I don't use now. What if I get a hard nucleus? What if I land up in a complication? Then again, I'll have to shift to peribulbar injection. Or was I looking for an excuse of avoiding because I was comfortable with peribulbar injections? So I decided to go back and see the anatomy where exactly we are operating. So we have our sensitive terminations of the fifth cranial nerves that are concentrated in our cornea and our ciliary body, and these are the positions where our anesthetics are working. And these nerves are blocked by very minimal concentration of your anesthetics that you are using. So definitely we have the advantages of topical because you have a higher safety level. You don't have the complications associated with the peribulbar injections. You have a lower intraocular pressure and you have the patient quite comfortable immediately after surgery. You don't need to give the patch to the patient. But yes, there are the limitations when you actually begin with topical M6. You have to avoid uncooperative, anxious patients. If the patients have any communication problem, or you are anticipating long surgeries, or you know that it is a complicated case, maybe you can shift to peribulbar in such cases. So the technique is the simplest of all. You just need to use the proparacaine eye drops before your surgery. But today we have the intracameral injections that work wonderfully. The technique is the simplest in itself because you just ask the patient to look up, instill a drop of proparacaine, just ask the patient to close his eyes and your job is done. And initially it can be, when you're starting to do topical, it's a good practice. If you give the drops in both the eyes, then it will eliminate the squeeze response of the patient and you'll be more comfortable doing your surgery. So there are three ingredients for success when you shift to topical. You have to prepare your patient, you have to select your patient properly, and you have to be prepared. You yourself have to be prepared to undergo this, to perform the surgery. So in patient preparation, educate preoperative counseling is very important, where again we have 4 specific issues I'll be showing in the videos. So the microscope light, it appears to be very bright initially for the patient. So start with a dim illumination and then gradually increase your illumination. You have to remember that you still have the intact eyelid sensation unlike your peribulbar. So thirdly, you have, it's comfortable if the patient can follow your command and you can control the eye movements, and it is very normal for the patient to feel some pressure sensations when you are operating under topical. So this has to be explained to the patient beforehand. Next comes how you select your cases. Here again we have 4 points. So there should be no language barrier between you and your patient. Patient should follow your instructions. Choose the easier and the simpler cases initially. Don't directly jump into hard and difficult cases. Check for the squeeze response of the patient. How you do this? When you are seeing the patient in the OPD, you are doing the AT, you know if the patient is not cooperating with those procedures, he is unlikely to cooperate with your surgery. And next is you need to check for the eye movements of the patients. So with this preoperative counseling and a careful case selection, you will maximize your chances of success and minimize the stress factor both of the patient as well as the surgeon. So what about our preparation? Here again we have 3 specific issues which I will be dealing with one by one. So saccadic eye movements are disconcerting, but sudden and forceful gaze movements can be a problem, so you need to seek the cooperation of the patients. We have to remember that any amount of stimulation of the eyelid or the traction on the speculum or even the subconjunctival injections, if some of you are giving, then these will be painful for the patient. So the iris also retains its normal sensation. So this is the time when you are delivering maybe a hard nucleus, you can go for the intracameral injection so that the patient is comfortable and you can comfortably do the surgery. So what are the deciding factors? It's the patient, whether the patient is willing or not. It's you as a surgeon, what are your skills, and it's the type of cataract or the type of the comorbidities that you are dealing with. So these are the immediate post-op pictures of a few of my cases, and these are the smiling faces. A patient comes back without the patch, goes back without the patch. A happy patient, especially your mad cats, you know, the moment they can see immediately after surgery, that is something that gives you as much happiness as the patient himself or herself. So hopefully this presentation has helped you in improving your confidence, maximizing the chances of success, and you can enjoy your experience of M6 surgery. Thank you.